Dirty old man here. That's right, check out those penny loafers. We're doing some walking and some talking. So what else has been going on since I left? Well, like I mentioned last time, looks like we're going to have a new president in a very, very short number of days. President Donald Trump. Just say that again. President Donald Trump. I never thought I'd live to see the day where that would happen, but it was like, wow. That whole campaign from beginning to end, and where he was just like shooting from the hip, and people like that. And I'll tell you what, you watch any debate, and it's always going to start out with some clown saying, oh, well, you know, I believe in the American family values and the American way, and I believe in, it's like, but it's a whole bunch of, a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers keep trying to sell us on how they're all, out for us when they're obviously out for them. And they give the same answers, same political answers, and never, you could ask them whatever, they'll never answer your question straight. And then comes Donald Trump. Pretty much acting like a loud, rude motherfucker half the time. But I think people enjoyed that change. It was refreshing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's crazy. Maybe I really honestly don't know how to feel about the Donald Trump presidency coming up. Obviously, I'm wishing for the best because I live in the country he's going to be president of. So I'm not wishing him any bad things or have a bad presidency, because a bad presidency for him is a bad country for the rest of us. So just keep that in mind. Just like, I wasn't a big Hillary supporter either, but if Hillary was president, what would I be doing wishing her bad for 4 years if it's just going to affect everybody else? So, yep, I managed to live long enough to see a Donald Trump presidency and marijuana legal in most of the country. I guess there's the old and dirty old man. It's going to be, I know people are generally concerned. Actually, people are generally freaked out about the whole Donald Trump presidency. There's people to this day still trying to keep him from taking office. First they tried the recounting the votes, and they say that the Russians rigged the election. And then they say they try to get the Electoral College to not vote for Trump. But it's going to happen. He won the election fair and square, whether you like it or not. That's why we have a democracy. Your dog's not always going to win the fight. And when your dog doesn't win the fight, you deal with it. It's always a yin and a yang of things in this country, which I think is a good thing. Because you don't really want 100% Republicans or 100% Democrats, because one of too much is not a good thing. You need to have it balance out. So, now some people might think that the Donald Trump presidency might be too far that way, but you know what? I don't know. As far as I've known, this guy's always been a New York liberal businessman. When the hell did he become Mr. Abraham Lincoln conservative? Which I don't think he is. I think he was wily, and he's a smart guy. He knows what to say. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to get elected. He knew what buttons to push, what to say, and it happened. You look at the Electoral College, it wasn't even fucking close. Even though the day before, everybody was saying, oh, Hillary's going to win this in the landslide, the latest polls. And what I was telling people for months is the latest polls don't mean shit, because there was such a stigma for people voting for Donald Trump that people who were voting for him just didn't say shit. They either said Hillary, or they didn't say nothing, or they just mentioned some third-party clown. So the polls were flawed from the get-go, because I think the people who got polled didn't tell the truth. I'm about to cross this dangerous street here. Oh, lights turned yellow. So we're going to have to put this... Whoa, look at that guy. There they go. Anyway. So here we go. Donald Trump presidency. I tell people, even the people who are concerned, I tell them, look, we have the checks and balances in this country. Our founding fathers did the right thing. They were very smart. There's 3 branches of government, and neither one of them has all the power. You know, the president has some veto laws. The president has some executive actions, but it's very limited in what he could do. You know, I mean, it's good to have that a president has emergency powers that, you know, if something comes up, they don't have to call in Congress to vote for a war like we did with Pearl Harbor. You know, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and the Congress still had to vote on if we're going to go to war or not. But be that as it may, even I think worst case scenario, if you're a doom and gloomer about how Donald Trump is this, that, and the other. Worst case scenario, other people going home from work. Worst case scenario is Congress will be stagnated. If people don't want to work with him, then they won't push nothing through the legislature what he wants, even if the Republicans have the majority. So hopefully he can do what he says, in that he can cut deals. Maybe he can negotiate a peace treaty because he's good at negotiating. Maybe he can work out some kind of plan to get the Congress or the Senate out of the deadlock that's usually in. Maybe he can persuade people. Maybe not. Well, you know what? We're going to find out shortly. Why don't you tell me what you think about a Donald Trump presidency? Are you fearing the worst? You think it's not going to be so bad, or do you think it's going to be the best thing this country's ever had? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. And, you know, I've heard all 3. It's not going to be so bad. It's going to be the worst thing. It's going to be the best thing. So, what do you think? Well, this is Dirty Old Man. That's my walking and talking contemplations for today. And as always, go with God, but please do come back.